his wife and family. We're delighted that you're with us as well. Looks like we've got budding musicians coming right behind Bronkar with his kids. I'm sure they've got great talent because Dad and Mom are extremely talented. We're just delighted to have you all with us today as our very special guest. Bronkar Lee was one of our collaborative partners here in our facility, a Center for Hope, Healing, and Restoration over the years. And he's been a keynote speaker traveling around the United States, motivating people with this great energy and awareness and consciousness of the great spirit of being one. And I love the music that he shares. I know you're going to enjoy it as well. Get caught up in the rhythms and feel the sweetness of the flutes or the drums or whatever it may be that he's offering. And just know that as we open up our hearts to it, the Spirit is speaking through each and every moment of this experience together. I invite you now, and those of you who are joining us through our live streaming and through our social media programs, we're delighted that you're with us today here at City of Light for a very special treat. We hope that you'll stay tuned throughout the whole program to enjoy the wonderful music and as we welcome Bronkar Lee. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Oh, so it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for giving your most valuable resource, which is your attention. Thank you for paying your attention to me. I never take the privilege of the platform lightly, so thank you for being fully present here. Now, I'd like to start off with something I call the Oath of Opportunity. And the Oath of Opportunity is something that really came to me as a tool to get us all fully present in the moment. Because in life, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. The gift of the moment, the present, in this moment here. And the Oath of Opportunity is, we've never been at this exact place, at this exact moment, as this exact version of ourselves before. Now, what would happen if today we were to give ourselves permission to explore, to be curious, to experience old information from a new perspective, to receive new information with an open mind, and to be reminded of something we may have forgotten. And as we collectively expand into this feeling and this oath, I'd like to set the tone with a little bit of music. Thank you. So this particular instrument, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a very fascinating instrument to me. It's actually called a handpan. And I love the sound of the handpan. And even more than that, I like to look at the handpan as a teacher. And this particular instrument not only is a beautiful music maker, but it also represents our lives. This represents our community. It represents you at the center here, the center note, that center ding. And then all of these different tone fields around here represent people in your community. And now the cool thing about this is that inside of each tone field, there's multiple layers, there's multiple sounds, right? So you're hearing multiple notes inside of there. And this fascinating thing happens when one tone field is played, you hear a little resonation in these other tone fields over here. When this one's played, you hear a resonation over here. And that's called sympathetic resonance. And so what you're hearing is you're hearing multiple sounds coming together at the same time, which creates this kind of chorus effect. And I like to look at it as it's one song that we're playing, but there are many voices inside of that echo chamber that are resonating to create that one voice. And it's just like that for our lives. We might be playing one song, but there are many voices coming together. And just like many hands make light work, many voices make powerful music. And when we come together as a community, as a oneness, then we're so much more powerful because the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So not only do I love this handpan as an instrument, but also as a teacher for us. Now, my musical journey began, I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to 1999. Anybody remember those 1900s? So back to 1999, and I was in a very dark place in my life at the time. And I was the product of a one-night stand. And I lived a lot of my life believing that I was an accident, that I wasn't supposed to be here. And I told myself this story over and over in my head. And then I reframed that to I was the repercussion of two cosmic beings coming together to create the Big Bang, which produced me. But how valuable is that? The story that we tell ourselves, the music that's playing on repeat inside of our minds, determines how we see the world, right? Because what we're looking for is what we're going to find. It's kind of like, anybody ever take road trips when you were younger? Raise your hand if you took road trips when you were younger. Now, what games did you play when you were on the road trip? Yell it out. I Spy, right away. See, there you go. I Spy. Any other games? Counting cows. I like that. That's a Southern boy right there.
99 beers on the wall.
99 beers on the wall. Wow. Who was driving? Yeah. Well, we play I Spy. Speaking of that one, that's a classic in our car, and actually it's a real treat because my two boys are here today. And when we are traveling in the car, we play I Spy. Now, one day we were playing I Spy, and we decided we were going to take it to the next level. We were going to collectively spy with our little eye a yellow Jeep. Now, yellow Jeeps are pretty rare, and I had this was a very intentional thought right there, because when we have something to focus on, well, we're generally a little quieter. So we were playing We Spy with our little eye a yellow Jeep. Well, 5 minutes go by, no yellow Jeep. 15 minutes, no yellow Jeep. We get off the freeway 20 minutes later. I pull up to the light, and in my rearview mirror, I see it. And I turn around and I say, hey, boys, look behind us. And in unison, they both gasp, Dad, it's a yellow Jeep. Our car erupted with excitement and celebration. But the thing is had we not been playing the game, the yellow Jeep would have come and gone. It would have just driven right past. But in life, it's not about what you know, it's about what you notice. When we're spying with our little eye those yellow Jeeps, we're going to find them. When we're searching for opportunities to create connection, we're going to find them. What are you putting on the forefront of your mental search engine every day when you wake up? Is it gratitude? Is it love? Is it grace? And when we put that on the forefront, that is what's going to show up. Now, back to my story, 1999, I was in a dark place. I reframed my whole thing. I had this life-changing experience where I moved to a place called Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, you've been to Yellowstone. Who's been to Yellowstone? Show of hands. All right, Yellowstone's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it was, the energy of the park is just incredible. And I went there and I lived there for 4 months, and I was a housekeeper. So I made beds, and I think I made the first bed of my life. I was, but I lived there for 4 months, and this magical thing happened. I was hanging out in the geyser basin, and I met a guy named Nate Dogg. And you know, like those moments where you meet somebody and you never forget that person? They said something or they did something that just inspired you. They lit you up. Well, Nate Dogg was one of those people. I'll never forget him. And he put something in my lap called a djembe drum. It's a derivative of West African music, right? And he put this djembe drum in my lap. And as I played the djembe drum, I felt this connection. I felt this connection to something greater than myself, something much larger. I felt the pulse of the park, the energy of Yellowstone all coming together. The geysers were communicating with each other. The trees were communicating with each other. The sky, the animals, the bison, and they were all connected to me. And I was all connected to them. And there was this music that we started making together. And suddenly, for the first time in my life, I felt like I was at the right place at the right time. I felt like I was connected to something bigger than me. And that was my introduction to music. And so music to me has always been this very sacred thing that has the opportunity to connect us all together. And if you think about it, the tempo of life, whether you're a trained musician or not, you're a musical being. You're hardwired for rhythm. Your heart beats in rhythm. You breathe in rhythm. You walk in rhythm. You talk in rhythm. I mean, you keep time in rhythm. 60 seconds in a minute. 60 minutes in an hour. 24 hours in a day. We're constantly on that rhythm. So whether you're hanging out at the house or you're collaborating with your colleagues or at work, whatever it is, there's always a rhythm that is omnipresent. Always a rhythm that is omnipresent. It's a unifying force in our lives. And honestly, it's a language that we all speak. Now, when I was in Yellowstone, not only did I get introduced to the djembe drum, but I also got introduced to this magical instrument called the Native American flute. And when I discovered this flute, it truly changed my life. And a moment ago, Paul was talking about embracing the stillness, embracing the silence. And this magical thing happens when we embrace stillness and silence. From stillness comes motion. From silence comes sound. But we have to start at that place first. And so I want to create a little space for you here to have a moment as I play this Native American style flute. And as I play it for you, I invite you just to really continue to expand into this moment, to your relationship with rhythm, time, breath, your heartbeat, and this amazing community. notice what came up for you there. Notice where that took you. Notice how you feel in your body, your feet, your knees, your hips, your chest, your back, your shoulders. Just notice how you feel. Notice your connection to the breath. Notice your connection to my breath. In that sympathetic resonance, did you find yourself breathing with me? Because we are truly all connected. And connection is at the core of life. Connection is at the core of community. Connection is at the core of business. Connection is at the core of spirituality. It's all about connection. Now, speaking of connection, sometimes my boys, they're very, very spirited. And sometimes in the evening, it's hard for them to cool down, to kind of curl up in the bed and go to sleep. They're not just like hey, it's bedtime. Okay, Dad, here we go. And so I tap into some different tools, and one of them is the Native American flute. And if you ask them, I've played Native American flute for them before bedtime hundreds and hundreds of times. And the piece that I actually just played for you there was something that I created because when Nico, who is now 6 3/4, when he was about 4 years old, we gave him the nickname, the Little Red Dragon. And sometimes the Little Red Dragon had a tough time cooling down at night. So I would go and I would get my flute and I would play for him. And then he would settle down and connect with the breath and the stillness. And so the piece that I actually just played for you is a piece that I called Taming the Dragon. So that was for Nico. Yeah. Awesome, buddy. Now, what I love about music and about rhythm is that, a question. Where does music come from? Just yell out. Where does music come from? It comes from a piano. From your piano, okay. Yeah. Where else does music come from? From a flute. Yes. From nature, yes. From people. From the brain. Yes. Yes and yes, absolutely. And I love looking at nature and the tempo of life, and if we track the seasonal patterns and how the world is turning and our relationship with the sun and the moon and the tides and just the trees in Georgia, like right now we're coming into autumn. Autumn is on its way, y'all. Come on, give it up for autumn. Okay? Even if you're not as hot-blooded as me, I know you're ready for autumn, folks. But if we track these seasonal patterns, the leaves fall off the tree and then they grow back. And there's this natural cycle to life. Music comes from the brain. Music comes from a piano. Music comes from within us. It actually all begins with our heartbeat. All right, everybody, will you please take a deep breath in with me? Exhale out. Yeah. I am a huge fan of breathing. Anybody else? Yeah. Come on now. Some good stuff. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yes. It is one of those bare necessities. Absolutely. Now this time let's take a deep breath in together, and we're going to exhale with an ah sound, okay? Ah, good. Yes, just notice how that feels. So good. Now let's do a E sound. E. Yes. And this time we'll do one more. It's going to be an O sound, and I want you to just keep it going. Keep it going. Ready? Fantastic. Now notice the power in that. Notice how connected we are just by a single syllable like that, sustaining a vowel sound. No words, just the sound, right? I mean, the words that we speak matter in life, absolutely, but the way that we say what we say matters equally as much. The musicality of our voices, right? How we speak. If I were to speak to you like this with no deviation on rhythm or tone or melody or anything, it would get quite annoying after a while. Yes or yes? Absolutely, but as soon as I start to sustain the vowels or sharpen the consonants a little bit, then it becomes interesting. Then we can go on a journey together. And the most powerful instrument of all is our voice. And the cool thing about it is there's no barrier to enter. We all have the ability to connect with music at any time we want. We don't need to go to school and have some old dude give us a piece of paper that says, you're validated. Now you can go and cultivate a relationship with music. It's like, no, it's a birthright. We're connected to it. We're connected to nature. We've got it in our minds. If we sit down at a piano, we can express it through the piano. But it comes from within us, from our breath, from our heartbeat. We're connected to it. Yeah, that's some good deep breathing right there, guys. Come on now. Well done. Did you want to lead everybody in a couple of breaths? No? Because you could. You would like to, Nico? Come on. Everybody give Nico a round of applause. Yeah. Right here. All right. So we're going to do a couple of breaths. Can you, and make sure you tell everybody what we're going to do. Say, okay, everybody, we're going to take 3 deep breaths together, okay? Can you tell them?
Okay, everybody, we're going to take 3 deep breaths together.
Ready? And 1, 2 more. And the third one. And tell them about the opportunity breaths. What do we do when we do opportunity breaths?
We breathe like this. Opportunity.
Can everybody try that? Deep breath in. Opportunity. And the coolest thing happens when we do that. Not only are we taking a deep breath and recentering ourselves, right? But we're also focusing on something really powerful. We're aligning our breath with our thoughts by that word opportunity. And then we can't help but start to find the opportunities, right? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, everybody give Nico a round of applause. Nice one, buddy. Nice one. All right, I love it. So I'm going to play another piece on the handpan here, and I'm conscious of my time here. Okay, so because I will go for 2 hours without food or water or anything, but I'm limiting myself to 30 today. Okay, so 30 minutes, not hours, but yeah. So I want to play another piece on this instrument on the handpan, and before I do that, I want to briefly talk about the importance of that. I love how, Nico, you brought up the opportunity breaths there, because that was really important for me to hear. And that's one of the things about being a dad, is that these little guys have taught me more than anyone else in my life. I could literally line every teacher and mentor and coach up down here, and it would extend all the way around this room, and it would extend 5 times around. And if I line them up next to these 2 little guys, the amount that they have taught me in their 6 and 8 years of life goes so far beyond that. so far beyond that. And what they've taught me is that within every person that I meet, there is a wisdom that I do not possess. And so every person that I come in contact with, I'm searching, I'm spying with my little eye, I'm searching for that wisdom. How can I unlock that wisdom? And one way to do that is like this flute that I played earlier. It's a double chambered flute. It's actually two flutes in one. It's called a harmony flute. And see, this magical thing happens when those two flutes are played together. You create this harmony. And it's like one voice plus one voice doesn't equal two voices. It equals three voices. It's like 1 + 1 = 3. And the same thing happens when we meet someone. If we can find that harmony, if we can unlock that harmonic potential, then we can bring out that wisdom in them. So I'm constantly living my life and walking around and searching for the opportunity to learn from others, whether it's the grocer at the store, or it's somebody that I'm walking next to on the street, or someone that I've just come in contact with, or at the coffee shop, or wherever it is. So my invitation for you is to hold that at the forefront of your mind, to remember that every single person has a wisdom within them that we may not possess yet. But when we can find that harmony, we can unlock that harmonic potential, create that connection, and then learn that. And as well inside of that, as a reminder, each and every one of you are also the gift. Every day, every time you open your mouth, every time you gesture, the music that you speak, right? It all has the ability. In fact, I don't believe that we are what we think we are. In other words, sometimes when my boys, when they were a little bit younger, they would drive down the driveway in our car. It's not a car, it's a minivan. I drive a minivan. But I love it. It's a Honda Odyssey. It's amazing. But they would drive down in the Odyssey, and they would roll their windows down, and they would sing every time. They would go, "Bye, Dad, I love you, still blowing kisses." And they would go a little bit further, and they go down the block and turn the corner a little bit softer. "Bye, Dad, I love you, still blowing kisses." And then they would go down and turn, and they would go out of the neighborhood and out of earshot. But what was in my head? "Bye, Dad, I love you, still blowing kisses." Long after they had left the neighborhood, the resonance remained in my head. The lyric, the song, the message was in my head. See, what truly defines us as people is not necessarily who we think we are. It's the music that is resonating inside the heads and the hearts of others long after we have driven out of the neighborhood. So to hold that at the forefront of our heads and our hearts every time we interact with others. And with that, let's have a moment to reflect with this beautiful instrument. So you like that one? Thank you. So I'm going to close out today as we opened with that oath of opportunity. And my invitation is just to notice how you feel here when you show up. Notice what you've recorded in your mind. And one technique that I like to do is to take the feeling of this space and record it in your heart. And just push record. Because we're constantly recording things, and then we're constantly playing those back on a loop inside of our minds, inside of our hearts, inside of our bodies. And the story that we tell ourselves makes all the difference in the world of what we're searching for and how we're showing up for ourselves and for others. So to record this moment in your heart, and remember that you can play it back at any time, whether it's the music, whether it's the message, whether it's the people, the community, but you can play that feeling and that music back at any time. And remember that you are always connected here. So as I open today with that oath of opportunity, we'll close this moment with that oath of opportunity. That we have never been at this exact place, at this exact time, this exact moment, as this exact version of ourselves before. What would happen if today we gave ourselves permission to explore, to be curious, to experience old information from a new perspective, to receive new information with an open mind, and to be reminded of something we may have forgotten. My name is Bronkar Lee. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. I feel really connected.
Yes.
Amen. I do. With that music, all those, I don't know how he does this little beat thing. Could I learn that? Because I think my cool quotient with my son would go really high if I could do something like that. He'd think, Dad, you're kind of cool. Well, anyway, but we just have so enjoyed what you've offered to us today and the inspiration. Let's give him another round of applause and a great saying thank you. We appreciate so much. And the boys, and of course his wife, we're delighted you're with us as well, but we'll look forward to just spending more time with you following the service today in a time of fellowship that we share together. Let's close with the opportunity of giving, and that's an opportunity to share in the joy of celebrating the abundance of God in our lives. Knowing that God is just this abundant force, we can demonstrate that belief through our giving today. So we encourage you to just be generous in that spirit of saying, I know I live in the realm of divine abundance, and I share this today. Let's do this through our affirmation you'll find on our screen. Let's share this together. Would you join with me? City of Light is a thriving community that is experiencing the abundance of God. We are growing and flourishing because we feel and practice the teaching of spiritual truth. As we give and receive, we join now in the divine flow. We know that all we share with life returns to us multiplied abundantly, and so it is. We want to say thank you to each and every one of you who are being with us today. Those of you who are joining us through our social media, it's a delight to share with you. And we want to say thank you to all of our ushers, greeters, our multimedia people, all the people that make this ministry go forward, our volunteers, our hospitality team. Let's just give a rounding applause of thanks and appreciation for the wonderful gifts of so many that are shared here at City of Light. We thank you so much. Let's close with this chorus that says, yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins within me. And we're going to sing that song of peace within. That's right. For the music starts within our lives, and as we share that music of peace with one another, we know without a doubt we're going to have a wonderful, resounding joy within us. Let's sing together. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And Bonker's going to drop the beat.
Oh, okay.
Got me in our cuts, good. I'm up for you. All right. Well, maybe I am. I got number 40.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as my center, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me.
Let's pray together. Join with me in prayer. The Spirit of God is moving across our hearts and our lives as we become more and more aware and conscious of that divine presence. That divine presence is true music within us, for the sound resounds of joy, of love, and complete peace and contentment. We rest in that presence in this moment right now, knowing without a doubt that there is no separation. We are one with the divine, one with one another, all connected, no separation. Feeling this sense of oneness, then we celebrate this moment of knowing that as we claim for ourselves, we claim for one another the highest and best. And as we live out our light and love, we live it for one another, giving the highest and best light and love to one another in this world. So as we go from this place, we go with this wonderful challenge, with this great inspiration to live each day, to live each moment to the fullest, and acknowledge our sense of oneness with each and every moment, each and every experience, each and every one, all of nature, and all that is God. With great gratitude, we release this blessing, we release this awareness into this world, knowing that that which we've spoken is true, and it resounds throughout the ages. With that we say together, and so it is.
So take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me.
Again, thank you so much for joining us today here at City of Light. It's a delight to have each and every one of you with us. Great round of applause to Bronkar and his percussion systems, as well as his family as well. We're delighted at that. We're going to join together in a great time of hospitality now, sharing bread, shall we say, breaking bread together in a wonderful meal. Let it be so that we know and are conscious of the blessing of this food nurturing us. We are grateful for the experience and grateful for the words of love that will also nurture our souls that we share together with one another. God bless you. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gretz, and if I can be a blessing to you in any way, those of you who are viewing us through social media, please reach out to me. You can do so at my website at revtpaul@aol.com. You can also reach out to us as by just coming in person and joining us here at City of Light at 3125 Presidential Parkway. We appreciate your generosity in giving, and there are many ways that you can support this ministry. You'll find them going across the screen as you can offer your gifts through Zelle or going to our website at www.cityoflightatlanta.com. Either way, we appreciate your support of this exciting program we call City of Light that is reaching around the world. God bless you. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, as well as each and every one. Let's go in God's peace.
Amazingly awesome, gonna happen to me today. Something amazing.